I would like to invite Dr. Kaiser Gonçalves to make your presentation. Brazil's experience in development of marine mineral resources of the South and Equatorial Atlantic Ocean.
Okay, so I start my presentation on the Brazilian experience in the development of marine mineral resources of the South and Equatorial Atlantic Ocean. Yes. The next slide, please. You need to come back one. You went two at the same time. Oh, it's okay. Go. Yes. Before talking about mineral resource, I'd like just to talk a little about the Brazilian institutional framework for resource of the sea. In Brazil, we have an interministry commission for the resource of the sea. This commission is composed by different ministries and state secretariats. This commission has worked under three main policies. It is the national maritime policy, the national policy for the resource of the sea, and the national policy for Antarctica affairs. Each policy has a plan, has a national plan, and under each national plan of work, there are several projects. Like, for example, the national policy for the resource of the sea. It has the sectorial plan for the resource of the sea, and it is composed by different projects. They are projects for living resource, non-living resource, for bioprospecting, etc. One of these projects is what we call RENPLAC, which means it is the program for the assessment of the mineral resource of the continental shelf. Next slide, please. This is just a chart to tell what this program is about. It seems to be complicated, but it is a simple one. The program for the assessment of the mineral resource of the continental shelf has a general objective, which is increase knowledge about seabed and subsoil, about the seabed and the subsoil of the Brazilian continental shelf. The specific objectives, between others, are identify physical features, evaluate mineral resource, identify potential mineral resource other than the ones we know, and collect information for coastal and marine management policies. This program has different activities, areas of activities. And we divided these activities in four main areas, and each one with different projects. The first one is the integration and organization of data and information. Later, I'll show you what we are doing in this area and what kind of projects we have. The second one are the specific surveys. They are surveys for mineral resources, for different types of mineral resources. The third one is the general survey. It's a kind of systematic survey to identify the seabed features and to try to identify new mineral resources. The fourth activity is the economic, technical and environmental feasibility studies, but we do that based on the results of the other projects. And the expected objective of this project is to increase knowledge of the Brazilian continental shelf, facilitate territorial zoning, develop competence and new technology, promote capacity building, and promote the sustainable development. The next one. Before talking about the Brazilian continental shelf and its adjacent oceanic areas, I'd like to show you what the Brazilian continental shelf is. But I think Commander Alexandre Tagore has shown you. It is composed by its economic exclusive zone, and you can see here the area of submission of the Brazilian submission for the Commission on the Delimitation of the Continental Shelf of the United Nations. The next one. Okay. In Brazil, when we talk about marine scientific research, it is important to say that we have different centers of research. Several universities work together with the Geological Survey of Brazil and with the Directorate of Hydrography and Navigations. And this map shows the location of, for example, the Geological Survey of Brazil, we call CPRM, in different areas. It has different offices. The Directorate of Hydrography and Navigation also is located in different parts of Brazil, and they provide all the oceanographic ship for our research. And we work together with several universities. I indicated just the ones with we are working now, so just to show that we have a lot of institutions working for the research. The next one. Okay, so these maps show, the first one show the area where we are developing or planning to do research for mineral resource, for specific mineral resources. These are the areas where we know there are some resources, and now we are trying to make a more detailed study. We have from the south to the north project for phosphorites, for placers, for coal, placers for diamonds, gold, and projects for gravel, and sands and the carbonates, and also projects for cobalt-rich crusts and for polymetallic sulfides between others. The other maps shows the areas where we are going to develop a kind of systematic study to find out information about the seabed and also about the mineral resource. This map shows our priorities in the 1 to 500,000 scale, and this shows our priorities here in the scale of 1 to 1 million. This work is to complete what we have already done for the continental areas. In the next one. Yes, before starting any project, any specific project, Brazil did a project that we call Geology of the Brazilian Continental Shelf and Adjacent Oceanic Areas, organized in a geographical information system, meaning that we collected all the available information on the Brazilian Continental Shelf and the adjacent areas, and we mounted a GIS system where we have all of this information. We produce new maps, like for example, we produce a new cartographic base for the continental shelf. we included the digital elevation model, which is based on the Etopos 2. All the bathymetry that comes from the Directorate of Hydrography and Navigations from Petrobras, and we included in the oceanic areas the bathymetry from NOAA. We have a physiographic map showing all the different features. We produce a map of the top of basement. We have a map of all the mineral resources and occurrence of mineral resources, and so on for sediments, gravimetry, magnetometry, etc. All the available information is here, and it is available in the same environment. So it is very easy for us now to plan new activities because we have this information. Next one, please. Also, we include all the seismic surveys available from Petrobras. What you can see here, yellow, is thousands of seismic profiles that you can see here. All the drilling, but in this project, we don't have the seismic survey. We have information on the seismic surveys and the drilling, so you know where to find it if you need, if you are going to work in a specific area. So you just plot this specific area and you have all available information, then you can plan for new activities. These include sediment sampling, location of coastal and marine basins, the maritime areas, and also all the mineral activities areas, so you know if there is some activity going on. Also, all the protected areas, because it is important to know where you have protected areas. So everything we are going to do in Brazil now, all the projects, we just plot the area and we got all the information. And from this information, we will go further. The next one. Just to give some examples, we analyzed several sampling. We did the geochemical analysis of this sampling. For example, here is for silver. We have some anomalies, the red color. Next one. This is the anomalies for titanium. Titanium comes from these black sands that our colleague from Senegal mentioned yesterday. The next one, this is the anomalies for calcium. We have one of the biggest carbonate platform. Next one, anomaly for vanadium. Next, zirconium. Next, manganese, and next please, and for strontium. So we did this for 21 elements, and now based in this information we can develop a specific project to know why we have this anomaly and if it shows some economic interest. The next one, as I told you before, we have information from all known mineral resources and also occurrence of mineral resources. It includes in the Brazilian continental shelf and adjacent oceanic areas, sand and gravel, carbonates, placers, phosphorites, evaporites, sulfur, coal, polymetallic nodules, cobalt-rich crusts, polymetallic sulfides, gas hydrates, oil and gas, and others. Next. This is one of the maps that we produced using all the available information. Is the maps we showed here, and outside you have this map. It is the map of the potential mineral resource of the Brazilian continental shelf and the adjacent oceanic areas. The next one. We produce also a map of the areas of relevant interest for mining activities. It's just a way we have to show that this area is important for mining activities. Then we can talk with people from environmental area. We can compare if we have protected areas around it. So it is important. And we grouped the minerals into energy, which is oil and gas, energy or coal, gems, material and mineral for agriculture, which is very important for Brazil, ferrous metals and non-ferrous metals. In the non-ferrous metals, we include sand and gravels, which is very important for civil construction and to rebuild eroded coastline. The next one. Yes, in the folder you received, there is a DVD. This DVD is what I'm showing here. Unfortunately, it is only it's a Portuguese version. Later we will have an English version. And in this DVD has all the data and information on the Brazilian continental shelf. It is so we are giving you all the information, all the data. Next one. So it has a presentation, information on the credit, on the technical credits, institutional credits. It mentions about the content of the CD, of the DVD. We have to change it. And there is a manual of the ARC exhibit, which is a program developed by the staff of the Geological Survey of Brazil to allow you to visualize all the information you have in the DVD. So you don't need to have a very expensive software. You just open the CD and you visualize it, and you know that behind you have all the data and all the information, all the tables associated to it. So it will explain you how to use it. And also it allows you to bring new information and to take other information. You can produce your own project in the area you are working on. You just open the CD, you plot your area, you bring all the information, and from there you can make new proposal. Next one. As another product of the CD, you can print this map in a big format as the one outside, and this format which is A0, so you can print it. And you have other thematic maps, the next one. Oh, sorry, this is the one, the main map you can print. The next one, please. And you have different other maps, the next slide, which you can print if you want, but you have the data associated to this information. The next one, please. Yes, this is how this ARC exhibit program shows information. You have all the different layers here. You just click in each one, and you can overlap one information to the other. You have a legenda. You can do some basic operations. So you see which kind of data is there. Next one. Next. Yes, the Geological Survey of Brazil has a database called GeoBank. You can access all the data from Brazilian continental areas by internet. And now we are developing a module for marine geology and marine mineral resource. It's not yet ready, but it will be available soon. And we include all the information we have collected and the new information from the new projects we are developing now. The next one, just an example of data, the location, sampling stations, and so on, that will be included in this module. Next one. Okay, now let me talk a little about the projects we are developing, we are carrying out. This is a project for sand and gravels. It started in the northeast part of Brazil. We did already some areas, and we will extend this project for all the Brazilian coast. This is the project to locate it, the different kinds of sand and gravels. We have maps like this where we can see gravels and the different size of sand and mud, etc. The next one. This next. This is sand and gravels is used mainly for civil construction and coastal reconstruction. Here we see it's a news from the Brazilian news talking about a big problem we have, which is the erosion of the coastline in several points. It's a huge economic problem here. Next one. The same project is also trying to locate the carbonates. We have lithotanium, we have other kinds of bioplastics, and the map shows the percentage of carbonates. We have areas where the content of carbonate is higher than 96%. The next one. These carbonates are used mainly for agriculture, water filters, cosmetic industry, dietary supplements, bone implants, animal nutrition, and water treatment in lakes. Next. This is just how it looks like when we collect it from the sea bottom. The next. We have also a project for phosphorite. We started in the south of Brazil, but we have other areas for future projects. We carried out oceanographic cruise here using this vessel from the Brazilian Navy. We collected sample, so it is a project, it's going on, we are collecting information. It's a 4 years project, and we should work also with the geological, the U.S. Geological Survey with James Hind. I'm sure a lot of you know him. He will work with us in this project. Next one. The phosphorites are used mainly for agriculture as fertilizer and soil correction, animal food, chemical industry, and the pharmaceutical industry. Next. We have several projects for placers. Some placers with gold, others with diamonds. This is a project for diamonds, and it is in the same area as our colleague from Petrobras show that we may have gas hydrates. The next one. This is just another area where we have a project also for placers, but this is for heavy metal and gold. Gold. Next one, please. Now, just let me show a little from what we are trying to do in the adjacent seabed area of the Brazilian continental shelf. The next one. Yes, we are we are planning projects for different areas. This is very close to the Brazilian margin. It's outside of the Brazilian continental shelf, so it's a good point for starting to do some research. Next one. So we are going to do a research for environment and also for cobalt rich crust. It is one of the areas that Dr. Podlinski showed it would be interesting in the South America to start some. So we start here. The next one, it's just the areas where we are planning to do sampling and multi-beam survey. The next one, and next. And we are also studying this area under the tectonic point of view, because this is a deformational zone. The next one, this is some seismic profiles which shows these grabbings. It can be 800 meters deep in the central area. The next one, we did some preliminary studies. The next one, please. This deformation finished at the Eocene age. We did a reconstruction of the South Atlantic Ocean, and it shows this deformational zone which broke apart all the South American plate with a rotation pole here. The next one. It's something similar what we can see in Ireland, these kinds of grabbings. Next one. And we have associated to this deformational zone some earthquakes that have affected continental area. So we want to study this area and find more information about this. Next one. This is the whole area, the different phase of work only for this area. The next one. In 2009, we used this new acquired ship. It was bought by the Ministry of Science and the Technology, and it is operated by the Brazilian Navy. So we use this ship. We are buying equipment for it, and we have this ship also from the Brazilian Navy, which will be equipped with a multi-beam system. The next one. We have also a project for this area, for the Middle Atlantic Ridge. Is the only piece of Middle Atlantic Ridge inside the Brazilian economic exclusive zone. So we will start this project in 2009 also, and after we'll see what we have outside of the continent. The economic exclusive zone. We will do this project in cooperation with IFREMER, with Mr. Yves Fouquet, who you know very well, and we will participate from this project, the Geological Survey of Brazil and the Brazilian universities. And this project will look for mineral resource and also for the biodiversity of these areas. The next one. We worked in 2009 with this new acquired ship. The next one. And just to mention some of the new projects, we started a project for coal in the Brazilian continental shelf. We know the coal, there is exploitation in these red spots, and we drilled the coal on the shoreline, and we found a very thick layer of coal with a very high quality. So now we try to see what is the extension of this coal under the continental shelf. We start also analyzing some seismic profiles from Petrobras and compare with the drilling we have here, the drilling on the continental area. It will be just the beginning of this work. Later, we will try to collect more information and drill on the continental shelf. Next. Well, another project we are proposing. I told you that we did this project for the Brazilian continental shelf and the adjacent continental area. We collected all the available information here, and it is available for everybody. Now we are proposing to extend this project to all the South and Equatorial Atlantic, and include, and now to take information from the African side, and if possible work with African countries, and even develop this project together. I think it would be a good start for a cooperation to take all the available information and make this information available in an easy way for all the countries to develop their own projects. So it could be a proposal for a cooperation. Next one. Yes, for other, could you come back please? Pode voltar pouco. Yes. Other new project would be the standardization of methodology of data and information. We have some standards, but we are working with new mineral resources, with new technologies, so we need to see all the Brazilian scientific community and establish new standards. Also, we start economic, technical and environmental feasibility studies for the areas which show some economic interest. Next one. Just to show you some of the oceanographic vessels from the Directorate of Hydrography and Navigation, which we use it in our projects. They are working part-time for our projects. So this is some of the ships. The next one. We are also working with the ships from the Brazilian universities, like this one, and the ships from the Brazilian Institute of Environment, the IBAMA. We did a project this 1 month ago using not this one but another ship from the IBAMA. Next. Brazil has also a project to build a new oceanographic ship. Brazil did already this project. It is ready. It is a project for in 4 years. I suppose Brazil will have this new oceanographic ship built in Brazil, built 100% in Brazil. Next one. Yes, just for 2009, we have planned 208 days at sea with all these oceanographic ships working in the different projects. We acquired also new equipment. We have a brand new multi-beam system for serious vessel from the Navy, and we bought several other equipments like sonar, side scan, multi-beam, bathymetry, echo sonder, and so on. The next one. For 2009 and 2010, we acquired a remotely operated vehicle, wings and cable, GPS equipment, more echosonder and sonar side scan and vibra core, samplers, etc. The next one. Well, now I just would like to mention to you one report carried out by the Center of Strategic Affairs of the Presidency and for the Center of Management of Strategic Affairs. This report was about mineral resource, living and non-living resource, and about technology. So I just show you some of the results concerning the mineral resource. So after discussion with several specialists, this report shows that for Brazil, sand and gravels are a priority for coastal reconstruction, mainly, and civil construction. Fertilizers like carbonates and phosphates are also a high priority. The priority 2 comes to have minerals, coal. Priority 3 comes to gas hydrates, sulfur. And priority 4 comes to evaporites and gems. Next one. Concerning the international seabed areas, our priorities would be cobalt-rich crusts, then polymetallic sulfides, and then polymetallic nodules. The crusts, because we find crust very close to our, inside our continental shelf, and outside, but close to the Brazilian continental shelf. Next one. This report made also some recommendations for progressive activities to be taken from 2008 to 2020. This includes strengthening marine research networks. This program I mentioned to you, this program for the assessment of mineral resource of the continental shelf is a big network. We need to strengthen this program, this network, and others. Create a national administration center for scientific vessel and equipments. This is necessary because we have projects in the north and the south, and we use the same equipment. Then we need to have a center to send equipment to make what is necessary, to see which ship will use it, and so on. They organize geological data and information, and the work I showed you in the Brazilian continental shelf is the first step for this. So we organize the available data and information, identify geological and geomorphological seabed features, identify new mineral resources, carry out feasibility studies for marine planning and management. The next. Strengthening national research institutions, including capacity building, prospect and exploit sand, gravels, carbonate, and phosphorites from the continental shelf, recover eroded coastlines based on assessment of sand and gravel resources, update the legal framework, take into account each marine mineral resources, prospect and explore mineral resource in the international seabed area, promote international and regional cooperation, and develop new and sustainable technologies. The next one. Of course, when the sea, all the research in the sea is very expensive. So we need international cooperation. We start to talk about cooperation with different countries. With France, I mentioned to you before, we do this cooperation for the hydrothermal vents and also carbonates. With the International Seabed Authority, I think this workshop is the beginning of a cooperation for the South and the Equatorial Atlantic Ocean. And we talked to the Geological Survey, the US Geological Survey for the phosphorites. And we talked with different other countries, but we have not yet started these operations. The next one. So some years ago, the question, all the research in sea, the mineral resource, the continental shelf was a question. It was discussed only from government research institution, and now the Brazilian press is showing a lot of works on this. We used to call the Brazilian continental shelf as our blue Amazon because it is as big as Amazon area. The next one. And just to finish this presentation, I'd like to paraphrase Shakespeare's Hamlet and say that there are more things in heaven, earth, and sea than are dreamed of in our science. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kaiser, for your good and objective presentation. We are pleased to inform the presence of the Senator Erato Ford, member of the Commission of External Relations of the Brazilian Congress in the Seabed. To continue this presentation of the second part of this workshop, we invite Dr. Roberto Ventura to make his presentations, evaluation, and forthcoming steps.
I would like to give some words to thank for the organization of this seminar. I'm in charge of the seminar too, but I think I should mention specifically the Ministry of Mines and Energy, also the Ministry of Defense, the Commission for Ocean Resources. I also like to thank the Ministry of Brazil Foreign Affairs. And ISA has also a very important role for this seminar to happen. And as Kaiser said, this is the beginning of a new kind of operation, and hopefully with other Latin American countries, and also with African countries, and also with other countries that has already been doing some research in the ocean floor. I'd like also to have a special thank to CPRM, this is the Brazilian Geological Survey, and to Petrobras, which made available, for instance, our internet transmission. As you already know, our seminar was transmitted by internet, and I checked a few minutes ago, we had more than 2,500 entrants or connection to the internet. So this is a quite, I mean, from my opinion, is a quite good number for people that try to follow the presentations and even to give their comments through the web. I was in charge to think about what should we do next. So next slide. This is some important point that I tried to gather from the presentations we had in these 2 days. The first one is that the area and its resources are the common heritage of mankind. This is a very important issue because I think everyone should be committed to do science and take care of this very important area of the Earth's surface. Marine mineral resources should be an important contribution to global peace and security. Mining coal design and construction and a major step is still required to establish exploitations regulations in the area. Marine scientific research in the area should be encouraged and promoted. So we saw in these 2 days very, very nice advancing scientific research in the area. And something very important that came out was also genetic resources and marine environment protection are major concerns regarding future mineral exploitation. And I think that not only for the area, but also for instance, the Brazilian platform what I think is that we have to do lots of studies concerning environmental impact, environmental issues, concerning exploitation of mineral deposits in the oceans. Prospecting and exploration, as well as future exploitation, are accompanied by major scientific and technological development. This is something very important that I think we learned here today, these 2 days, is that to go to the sea and maybe to go to deep water, we do need to have resources, and not funding only, but also lots of technological and, of course, human training. And deep marine studies require major investments in human resources. This is something very important too, and I really think that Brazil is trying to do that. So in the last 5 or 6 years, the Brazilian government has really put some effort to better know its platform. And now, due December, is the first step of Brazilian government also, and our institutions here present, think about what can we do concerning the deep oceans outside our Brazilian platform. So next slide, please. Russell? Oh, this is what summary about what we learned about the South Atlantic. And South Atlantic is a very slow spreading reach, as Mr. Fouquet and mentioned in his talk, and has potential for massive sulfide deposits, manganese crust, polymetallic nodes, besides other very important mineral resources. There is a general lack of marine geological data in South Atlantic. For instance, not many massive sulfide has been described so far. So we saw mainly yesterday that there are lots of red dots or red areas in the North Atlantic region, but we do not have many or maybe studies concerning the South Atlantic region, which means that we have lots of things to do in this area. Yesterday was very clear for me too that developed countries are open to promote training and scientific cooperation, and this is something very important for us. And also that in the other hand, developing countries are interested in cooperation. So that means, next slide, that when I think about the future, this is a big question mark, and I think that one thing that rise from yesterday was that we do need some kind of international cooperation. And this is why I want to bring for discussion. I'm not going to have lots of slides to present, and I'm kind of proposing to open some kind of discussion concerning maybe what should we do in terms of international cooperation concerning the South Atlantic. The next slide. And I think about what would be a possible scenario. I mean, this is like trying to provoke a discussion concerning this kind of international cooperation. And what I envisage in a possible scenario is develop a joint project in South and Equatorial Atlantic that includes developed and developing countries. I think that Kaiser's presentation was very nice in that regard. That really showed that Brazil was really trying to get knowledge on how to do things in the ocean. And even we have some projects concerning the areas outside our Brazilian jurisdiction. And things very important for that too is to define a common scientific cooperation strategy. This is what I heard yesterday, and I agree, this is very important. The project, in my opinion, will be accompanied by technological development and training. And this is, I think that we in Brazil have very good technological development, for instance, for oil and gas prospection, but this technology is not really available for mineral resources. So I envisage that we can really try to work hard on that to get some of this technology and knowledge of oil and deep oceans to better understand, to better know what we have at the ocean surfaces, even at very deep waters. And finally, I think that ISA, which is the International Authority, has a very, very is a keyhole concerning integration among interested members. So I think that ISA is, in my opinion, and should be even stronger in the center of this discussion, and also of this integration, how to get a proposal for the South Atlantic. And well, this is the possible scenario. I think that I don't think I can go beyond that. And the next slide, I'd like to thank you and open Próximo. And I think open some kind of discussion about what should we do next and what are our next steps. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Roberto Ventura, for your presentation. The organization of the Secretariat to observe the final time of the session, we have a few minutes for questions. Other relevant questions should be presented by Uriah. Okay?
I'm Jin from China. Thank you for your presentation. I was really impressed by the work you have done. From your presentation, I learned that Brazil has a very large size of potential and a lot of work has done in this area. And also, Brazil has an advantage of geography and location. And I believe that Brazil can lead in some cooperation in this region and the country around this South Atlantic Ocean has benefited from this cooperation. This is my comment. And my question is that as a country has a capability and a great potential to do, I believe, to do any activities in the deep ocean. And do you have a policy or long-term program for the International Seabed area, not only for this region, but for the area as a whole? And also, I believe that South America and Africa, many developing countries, have such an intention to participate in the activities under the principle of common heritage of mankind. And the authority also have a very large resort area, about 1 million. I just wonder that is there any possible for the future that Brazil can become a contractor during this resort area? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lin. Well, this is, as I said, the seminar is our first step concerning the area region. And we are, the Ministry of Mines has, well, there's maybe 6 months now, a very good project for our 20 years plan on mineral resources in the country. And what should we do in the next 20 years concerning mineral resources as a whole. And one of the items of this proposal, of this project, is really to deal with the ocean floor. So we do have some studies on that, and I'm sure that we're going to have some plans for even the area. What concerns the second question, I do agree, and this is my personal belief, that whatever we do here concerning the area, we should also try to do in cooperation with the African countries. And I think not only the African countries, but also other Latin American countries. And in fact, this seminar, we expected to have more people or more representatives from Latin America and also from Africa. But unfortunately, this is, well, something happened that we could not have all the representatives for other countries. But I believe that under the coordination of ISA, we can do a very good job in terms of cooperation and put together everyone that is interested in doing something to learn about the South Atlantic area.
Hello? Thank you. I have a question with Dr. Sousa. First, thank you very much for your very interesting and comprehensive introduction of the activity. That has given me another reason to come back to Rio de Janeiro. My first question is on behalf of all the participants who don't speak Portuguese language. When do you have that DVD in English version published?
And French version also. We have just finished this work, and what we provide you is just the first CD. We have to do some little corrections inside, and we produce the official Brazilian Portuguese version. And I think we have a very good reason now to speak and to produce this English version. We are supposed to do in the beginning of the next year a book which includes the CD and several publications from all the people that have contributed to this work. And we will propose this publication to be prepared in English, so you have not translated it. So,
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, but I cannot tell you exactly when, but we work hard on it.
Thank you very much. And the second and third question are of mine. The second question is, how much is the budgetary size of the program you presented per year? And the third question is, what is the reason I didn't see, well, maybe I may be wrong, I didn't see the environment thing in the work plan between 2008 and 2020. I just found the sustainable knowledge or something, but I didn't see any concern about environment. Okay, thank you very much.
Let me start with the second question. In the beginning, when we planned to do this seminar, it was going to be a seminar on mineral resource and environment and the related environment. But this is two big subjects. So we decided to follow the same methodology that the International Seabed Authority did. They did an workshop about mineral resource, then about environment, then about technologies for mining, and another for scientific cooperations. And so that's what we do. So I suppose our next seminar should be about environment. And because we are starting a lot of projects, and I believe that we need to know what we are going to protect. First, we need to identify mineral resource, but at the same time, we are studying environment around this, and this will be the base for the environmental impact study. So it is under its way. So some is doing two together at the same time. And also the Inter-Ministry Commission for the Resource of the Sea has other programs which is carried out by the Ministry of Environment, by the Ministry of Science and Technology. And some of them they are working with environmental aspects.
The last question.
The budget. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to finish. This question of budget, it's not easy. Because we work with the vessels from the Directorate of Hydrography and the navigation. So we don't pay for the vessel. We know it's very expensive for the Brazilian Navy, but they provide time on their ship. Also, all the oil used by this vessel is provided by Petrobras. So we just tell them that we are using this vessel and that we need 4,000 liters of oil, and then we get the oil. So it is very important. So the most extensive part of our projects are provided. I would not say freely, but for us, it's free. And then we have a budget for different projects. We have, for example, I believe that up to now, the last 3 years, we spent about 12 million reals. I think the professor is clear, is the secretary of the Ministry of Mines and Energy. When he did his speech, he mentioned that. For 2009 and 2010, we have a budget of about 8 million reals. You just divide it by 2 and you see what it means more or less in US dollars. Yes.
I want to make some comments about budget. And my comment is we don't have a oceanographic institute that deals only with the ocean. So that means that the budget we have comes from different sources. So one of the sources is the Ministry of Mines. So for instance, between 2009 and 2010, the budget would be approximately 20 million reais. We also have Petrobras that help us with oil. It's about 5 million liters oil every year for that. We also have, I would say, budgets for institutions, for universities mainly, that we have a lot of people that collaborate, and we do have some very specific projects that is not in the same 20 million budget, which comes from Ministry of Technology. And we do also have some resources coming from the Navy, not only the vessels, but there's also some financial support that comes from the Navy. I should also, of course, I'm talking about mainly what I'm thinking about resources, but there are lots of other programs concerning in which the Ministry Commission works on, which includes the Antarctica, the Living Organism Project, Environmental Project, and so on. So this is why there are different questions here. So, thank you.
Okay. Last question.
Audrey Barre de la Côte d'Ivoire. Je voudrais féliciter M. Kaiser.
Mr. Kaiser is possible to translate.
À M. Kaiser, je vais poser la question. Je pense qu'il parle français.
You can make your question in French, I will translate it, and then I will answer.
Donc, je voudrais féliciter de votre intervention. Ma question porte sur la coopération dont vous avez parlé. Je voulais savoir le contenu. Est-ce qu'elle portera sur des activités d'exploration ou d'exploitation des ressources minières? Et la deuxième question porte sur la procédure à suivre pour établir cette coopération. Est-ce que les contacts peuvent être pris dès maintenant?
Merci beaucoup pour votre question. I didn't get your name. Excuse me. Audrey. Yes, Ms. Audrey from Ivory Coast is asking about the cooperation we talked about. She's asking if this cooperation would include drilling and prospecting for mineral resource, and how this cooperation would be carried out. Yes, that's right. So we talked about cooperation, but I think we are just starting this process. What I mentioned in my presentation is that I believe that the first step for a cooperation would be to get all the available information in the South Atlantic and to work together to gather this information, and also to have all of it in the same geographical information system, which could be used in an easy way for everybody. Then, with this information, we can decide which project would be interesting, which project we would get financial support, because we still need a lot of financial support. So for now, we have, I would say, a proposal for the first step, and then we would later discuss about further developments.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Kaiser, Dr. President, Dr. Roberto, for this presentation. And the Commission asks us to join the table for two final remarks. I would like to invite to come to the table Ambassador Satya Nanda, Secretary General for the International Seabed Authority. Mr. Neil Alonde Odunto, Deputy to the Secretary General of the International Seabed Authority. The Senador Heráclito Fortes. And Admiral Nil Zanella, Secretary of Science, Technology and Information for Brazil JANEIRO. Okay, for to finish this seminar, we invite the speaker to talk about 5 minutes for you would like to pass the to make your consideration.
Not working?
Distinguished participants, representatives of the government of Brazil, Senator, I'm very happy to have come here. I wish to thank everybody for this opportunity. This was an excellent seminar. I would love to see the cooperation that you talk about take place, in particular for the South Atlantic. I also think it would be useful for everybody if there's further specification of this project. I think there's a tendency to use the word cooperation, and in the end we end up with nothing. It would be useful if there is further specification, if there's also an opportunity for the participants to talk about, to see a little bit of the specification, discuss it. And I think it will provide us with the means to go forward with what you have in mind. On the side of the contractors who also spoke about cooperation and stuff, again, I think it's always useful to have a little bit of specification. In the absence of specification, it becomes a lot of very nice sounding words, but we don't really get anymore. Again, I wish to thank everybody. Guys, it was an excellent seminar. I want to thank you for that too. Thank you.
to invite the Admiral Zanella to make your consideration.
Bom dia a todos. Em nome do embaixador Satyananda, gostaria de cumprimentar a todos. Gostaria de cumprimentar a todos os organizadores deste evento pela excelência dos trabalhos e cumprimentar também aos presentes pela participação ativa, com questionamentos, trazendo as suas propostas com os países, e dizer que certamente essa data marca uma prosperidade no que se refere à pesquisa no mar. E eu, como dormi muitas noites no fundo do mar, então eu sei o que isso significa para a humanidade. Muito obrigado a todos e parabenizo mais uma vez.
Agora passamos a palavra ao senador Heraldo Foz.
Eu quero registrar aqui a minha profunda alegria de poder compartilhar como convidado desse extraordinário encontro. Lamento, claro, a minha pouca participação. Tivemos uma semana muito agitada em Brasília e eu só pude chegar aqui no final. Mas eu quero confessar aos senhores uma coisa. Como presidente da Comissão de Relações Exteriores, nós fizemos um bloco de viagem da comissão. Primeiro fomos a 6 países da Ásia, 6 da África e depois 6 países da América Central. Anteriormente, por acaso, eu fui à Jamaica e fui ver o trabalho extraordinário feito pelo embaixador Secretariat. E lá encontrei essa figura ímpar que era o Kaiser. E me apaixonei pela questão do direito do mar, convidando inclusive o embaixador para vir a Brasília e mostrar um pouco ao Senado esse trabalho que está sendo feito. Eu acho que o nosso futuro do mundo está aí, principalmente o Brasil, com a dimensão continental que possui. Eu só quero lhe cobrar uma coisa, cara. Eu vi se falar muito aqui da questão de orçamento. Cobre um pouco desse orçamento ao Congresso, que o momento é agora. Nós estamos na fase final. Por coincidência, o relator tem a obrigação de conhecer, porque foi ministro da Minas e Energia, é o Delcídio Amaral, e é sensível a esse tipo de coisa. Se ele der até o começo da semana que vem, a gente vê o que pode fazer para esse ano. E o restante é começar. Eu acho que o começo é aqui e agora, que isso é importante. Muito obrigado.
Bom, antes de passar a palavra final para o embaixador Satyananda, eu gostaria de fazer em nome do Ministério de Minas e Energia. Meu nome é Carlos Nogueira da Costa Júnior, eu sou secretário adjunto da Secretaria de Geologia, Mineração e Transformação Mineral do Ministério de Minas e Energia. Bom, primeiro, cumprimentar a todos os órgãos, que participaram efetivamente para que esse evento ocorresse. As pessoas que estão envolvidas com a realização desse sucesso, que eu acredito que foi o seminário, estão de parabéns, porque mais de quase 1 ano e meio, Caio e Roberto sabem disso, da briga, briga no bom sentido, de formatar, de entender o que é que nós queríamos com esse seminário, de chegar a um senso. Pela apresentação do Kaiser, nós começamos com uma coisa muito mais ambiciosa, mudamos os paradigmas para que esse seminário, por ser o primeiro, fosse um seminário que transmitisse de uma maneira muito serena, muito tranquila, o que o governo brasileiro pretende e quer na questão do conhecimento das suas águas do seu mar territorial, inclusive das águas internacionais na área. Quando assumimos a Secretaria de Geologia e Mineração, em 2003, o Ministério de Minas e Energia, na realidade, ele tinha uma secretaria que chamava Minas e Metalurgia, simplesmente. Daí talvez a problemática de se interagir com outros setores que não fossem os metálicos. E numa discussão interna nós entendíamos que isso não refletia o pensamento nem a interlocução com os outros setores importantes que nós temos no país. Nós passamos agora no mesmo momento crítico na questão da agricultura com os insumos agrícolas, um país que depende 90% das suas importações de potássio, quase 50% das suas importações de fósforo, e o problema do gás para fazer hidrogenados, e assim completar o NPK, que é tão importante nesse país continental, que tem seu carro forte, a agricultura. Então, e entendíamos aí nessa época que precisavam diversificar, e aí sim, mudamos o nome da secretaria, e não é uma questão simplesmente semântica, porque entendíamos que precisávamos conhecer primeiro o nosso território, para assim atrair o capital, para que, de maneira sustentada, explorasse esse conhecimento geológico, e aí também, numa continuidade, fosse essa trilogia ela fosse formada com agregação de valor no país, fazendo com que passemos a não depender tecnologicamente dos outros países, e sim criar massa crítica nos setores, no setor principal que o Brasil precisa conhecer. E por isso o nome da secretaria, aparentemente grande, e de fato é grande pela sua importância, passou a ser Secretaria de Geologia, o conhecimento do seu território, não só para a descoberta de jazidas, mas para o seu ordenamento territorial de mineração e de transformação mineral. Então, aí começamos a estudar e a procurar interlocutores para que esses outros segmentos que não eram simplesmente metálicos passassem a ser, retornassem de novo à pauta de discussão no Ministério importante, que é o Ministério de Minas e Energia. E a questão do mar voltou à tona, uma questão que o Rimplac estava parado há muitos anos. Como o senador falou aqui, conheceu o caso na Jamaica, tivemos a oportunidade do caso vir para o Brasil, e na CPRM tínhamos uma caixa, quer dizer, um local que não estava parado há muito tempo na questão de pesquisa. Retomamos essas pesquisas com a contratação do Kaiser no time do governo para discutir a questão do mar, a vinda do professor Dr. Roberto Ventura para a Secretaria de Geologia, professor da Universidade de Brasília, para tocar o Departamento de Geologia e Recursos Minerais, e aí, em parceria com o Ministério da Marinha, através da CIB, da CECIB, Ministério das Relações Exteriores e outros ministérios, chegar numa conta razoável de projetos para que possamos primeiro entender a nossa plataforma continental jurídica e daí então passarmos a também entender a área continental internacional. Bom, então só para dizer que o secretário Cláudio Cunha, na apresentação, eu não vou me ater a isso, ele fez uma exposição dos recursos, das políticas, que o governo brasileiro vem desenvolvendo dessa época, juntamente com o Ministério de Ciência e Tecnologia, através dos seus fundos setoriais, com a própria Marinha. Batalhamos fortemente, inclusive, eu sou membro do Fundo Setorial Mineral, que é um fundo pequeno em relação aos volumes dos outros fundos, mas participando ativamente na interlocução para que a Marinha conseguisse esse recurso através de outras fontes dentro do FDCT, e para que esses projetos eles não viessem a ter solução de continuidade ao longo do tempo. E o governo vem mostrando isso, na questão dos recursos para a geologia. Se você ver os recursos, eles são vertiginosamente crescentes de 2003 até aqui. Esperamos, estamos diante de uma crise internacional, entendemos essa crise, esperamos que não haja interrupção desse fluxo, para que a gente não tenha o que os geólogos aqui presentes conhecem como curva da morte, quando os investimentos em exploração, em pesquisa, fez com que o Brasil passasse 20 anos aí sem descobrir nenhuma grande jazida, nenhuma grande reserva mineral. Estou falando de bens minerais porque, especificamente, várias pessoas falaram de outros setores aqui, mas eu estou falando porque é o nosso setor e é disso que nós tratamos dentro do Ministério. Bom, as palestras apresentadas aqui pelo Dr. Kaiser e pelo Dr. Roberto Ventura mostram, não precisa repetir, claramente como pensa e como vem agindo o governo nesses últimos 6 anos. Então ficou muito claro o que a gente pretende e para onde nós queremos chegar. E para colocar uma questão, porque eu pensei nisso em função de uma pergunta que houve agora de manhã, o governo está trabalhando, nós temos um grupo de trabalho, contratamos através do PNUD um projeto que estão sendo contratados consultores para 84 temas, para que a gente formate o que a gente chama de plano duodecenal do setor de geologia, mineração e transformação mineral do país. Nunca se foi feito um planejamento de longo prazo. E eu acredito, e está dentro, essa que é 2009 e 2028. E essas questões de recursos do mar estão lá dentro dessa discussão para que a gente possa vislumbrar com o planejamento estratégico o que a gente quer para esse país, de dimensões continentais, mas de uma importância estratégica fundamental. Então, para isso, gostaria de agradecer todos os pesquisadores dos diversos países que aqui se encontram, que tenham os que são a primeira vez que vêm ao Brasil, espero que retornem, como foi dito pelo nosso colega japonês aqui, que é um motivo para voltar ao Rio de Janeiro, e que continue, e aos pesquisadores brasileiros, aos membros de governo, seja do Ministério das Relações Exteriores, seja do Ministério da Defesa, Marinha, Aeronáutica, Exército, e ao Ministério de Minas e Energia, por essa interação na discussão de um assunto relevante, e parabenizar a comissão organizadora por esse evento. Muito obrigado. Bom, para finalizar o nosso evento, que não poderia ser diferente, eu passo a palavra ao nosso embaixador Satyananda, que é o secretário-geral da ISBA, International Seabed Authority.
Thank you very much, Mr. Carlos Negura, the Deputy Secretary General of the Ministry of Mines and Energy. This has been an extraordinary seminar, and I was very pleased with the level of representation that you have from throughout the different ministries. But I must say that I'm very pleased, particularly pleased that Senado Foot is here with us today, even though for a brief period. I was with him in Brasilia from Monday and Tuesday, I think, and I know how busy he is there. His own responsibilities as chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, and that of, then also that of a senator. It was very difficult for him to find time really to devote to the purpose for which he had invited me, because there were votes in the Senate, and his colleagues were also engaged, and we had to wait for the vote to be finished before we could begin our proceedings. But apart from that, he had many other commitments, and I really admired the fact that senators work so hard, especially you, and not the impression we have that politicians have a good time. Anyway, I very much appreciated my visit to Brasilia, and it was a visit really which was complementary to what we were doing here. It was to sensitize Congress on the issues relating to marine mineral resources, the role of the potential for Brazil's development of mineral resources in its own jurisdictional areas, and also the role of the International Seabed Authority in the international area. and how we could all cooperate and collaborate in order to benefit from the resources which are declared as the common heritage of mankind. So I very much appreciated the invitation and the opportunity to speak to the Foreign Relations Committee of the Congress of the Senate. As I was sitting here and listening to all of you, especially those who described the jurisdictional aspect, the resource aspect of the Brazilian jurisdiction area, I could not help but think of the efforts made by some distinguished and illustrious sons of Brazil at the Conference on the Law of the Sea, who fought very hard to maximize the jurisdiction of Brazil as a coastal state. And to my mind, I was just thinking back, who are these gentlemen? Some of you might know, some of you may not have heard of them. The Brazilian delegation at various times was led by Mr. JANEIRO, who was an illustrious son of Brazil. He was permanent representative in New York. He later became the Secretary General of the Foreign Ministry, and then the Foreign Minister of Brazil. Even when he was Foreign Minister, he made an effort to attend the conference meetings, which went on for a long time. Then there was Ambassador Carrero Rodriguez, who lives in Ipanema, not very far from here. He's very elderly now, he's in his 90s, he's not been enjoying good health. And he was an excellent lawyer, who later became the Secretary General of the Foreign Ministry as well. And he fought very hard for the extended continental shelf for Brazil and other coastal states. So you are benefiting from the efforts that they made during the conference to get the maximum jurisdiction for your country. So, you know, one can't forget them, as we discussed, the resources, the practical use of the zone. Then we had Ambassador Sergio Thompson Flores. He was very much involved in the deep seabed mining regime. He became ambassador later on, both in New York, and then later on he was posted to the Middle East. But what is very interesting about him is this, that he was called for posting to the Middle East for hearing before the Foreign Relations Committee of Congress. And at that time they asked him, well, I see that your credentials speak about your involvement in law of the sea. What is happening with law of the sea? And this was around 1994. And he then said that, look, this is making good progress. We have the convention is about to come into force. So what about Brazil? They asked. And he said, well, Brazil hasn't made any move, and Brazil should become a party to the convention. And I don't know whether you were in the chair or somebody else, Senator Ford, because the committee then decided there and then to schedule a hearing for the ratification of the Convention on the Law of the Sea. And that is how, within the next 6 months, Brazil decided to become a party to the convention. I thought I should mention this little history to you regarding the relationship of Brazil with the convention. There were many others who participated and led in the discussions from Brazil, some younger than those I have mentioned, and the Brazilian delegation in New York continues to participate very actively in law of the sea matters. In fact, Ambassador Vale, who is retired, but he's commandeered by the delegation to conduct negotiations on the annual resolution on law of the sea that takes place every session of the General Assembly, and it is scheduled to be taken up on the 4th of December when we return from here. So Brazil has always played an important role among the leaders of the conference, leaders in the law of the sea area. During the preparatory commission, they also participated as the spokesman for the group of 77, the developing countries. And the other day, Minister Machado, he was also very much involved. So you have a long history of association with a lot of the sea matters. Coming back to the seminar, as I said, this has been an outstanding session, seminar. We have started this. We started our first seminar in Indonesia, where we had similar discussions that we had, but in the context of Southeast Asia and Indonesia. And here we, of course, this is our second such seminar, and our next seminar will be in Nigeria next year. The purpose of this seminar is to sensitize the audience on the importance of ocean resources, on the role of the International Seabed Authority, on their own potential in their own zones of jurisdiction for concerning mineral resources, and to have the kind of exchange that we've had here in the last few days. We have, while from the Seabed Authority, we have told you about what we do and what the rules, regulations, etc. are in respect of management of the ocean resources, mineral resources of the deep seabed. And we also learned from you on what you're doing in your national areas. We were very much interested in what Petrobras is doing, because we read so much about Petrobras and your recent finds of oil and gas offshore. And indeed, we learned a lot from this seminar in that sense. We also had a very wide agenda. We discussed the tribunal for the law of the sea. Mr. Gore Albuquerque, Commander Albuquerque, introduced us to the work of the Continental Shelf Commission and some of the progress and tribulations that they have there in trying to deal with the continental shelf claims. But then we had outstanding scientists who we had invited together with you to come to make presentations to you and to inform us about some of the research that they are undertaking. And we really appreciate their presence here. They've come from long distances, from Germany, from France, from Russia, from China, I think from Japan, some who have spent 5 days traveling and 5 days and others who have come from other places, if I've missed any names. They all contributed to this discussion here with outstanding presentations on different aspects, and again, we learned a lot from them. As I said, the agenda was a very full one, but it was nevertheless lacking. There was something missing in the agenda. We did not have time to examine what minerals existed on the COPACABANA beach. There may be something very important which we missed. So I hope when the next time you have a seminar, you will include an item